Time for Financial Focus. Steve Buden is here. Steve, good to see you.
Thank you.
Up first today to discuss, looks like not looking good for a lot of companies as far as manufacturing, putting goods out there, output being forecasted lower than we first thought, right, Steve?
Yep, and this is coming on the heels of last week. I mentioned that you're beginning to see companies give descriptions and reports about how the economy is doing globally, and both central banks and even private companies are giving their reports downward. They're revising some of their projections downward. Alcoa, one of the largest American companies, a large multinational industrial company, said they're seeing orders slow down a little bit, and they make aluminum for airplanes and big ticket items like that. So it's good to take notice of what they say. The International Monetary Fund, the Global Bank, are revising their global output projections down. So something to take notice. Now, they're not necessarily that accurate on the global bank front, but when they make these revisions, it's good to see at the margins what they're saying, and they're just saying generally a decrease in demand has been happening. So something to watch for the next few months.
Something that doesn't seem to be going down is the American love of beer, and we are seeing two really big beer brands merging, right? Right,
and this is one that could be a biggie. Big beer merger is in the works. Now, two of the largest American and global companies, AM InBev and SAB Miller, and they make brands that we all know. Budweiser, Miller, Foster's, Corona. They're all part of this big conglomerate. And many Americans don't know that Miller and Budweiser are actually partly foreign owned, and in some cases majority owned. Now, they're talking about getting together and creating this big beer behemoth. Now, if they do, it would certainly create 70% of world beer output. Now, whether that would pass the monopoly antitrust regulators is another story. So the talk is Miller might have to divest themselves of Coors or Molson, which is a big Canadian brand. But this just, it's an interesting, from a consumer perspective, to see what, monopolies are never good for consumers because it drives up prices. So we'll see if this goes through. Both boards of directors are meeting, but like you said, Americans love their beer, and I don't think people would be too happy if the beer prices went up.
No, that could spell disaster for those companies. Okay, and the third point here, no COLA for 2016. Explain that.
This will be made official on Thursday, but the Social Security Administration every year will update the amount you're getting for Social Security, and the COLA stands for Cost of Living Adjustment, and it's based on the inflation rate. So if you're receiving Social Security, your payment goes up as the rate of inflation goes up. Well, over the last 12 months, inflation really has not been there because of low gas prices. So they're expecting for the third time in 40 years that there will be no cost of living adjustment for Social Security recipients for 2016. Again, I'm pretty sure this will be the case. The final numbers come out on Thursday, but it will impact those who receive Social Security and Medicare, because certain Medicare recipients may have their premiums go up. So keep your eye out for reports. I'll report back as I see things, but it's good to plan ahead. So just be prepared. No COLA for 2016.
Yeah, that could certainly impact so many Americans, and obviously we'll keep watching that. Steve, good to see you.
You too.
All right, Midday continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.